So I appreciate you guys being here this evening. It's Friday night. I'm sure you could be anywhere else, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart, it means a lot to me for you to be here. It means a lot for me to have this opportunity to do this because I'm scared and I'm uncomfortable to be transparent and vulnerable, but I'm going to do it anyway because I walk with an abundant, powerful God in my life, and this isn't, it's just spirituality that I have for me. And I have to do this. So, again, I appreciate you being here. There's another thing I wanted to do, and it was really going to be cool, and I thought so, and I was going to have this music start. We were all going to be pumped up and, just going. And, well, copyright infringement, so we can't do that. So I still want participation from you all because the theme that I hope you take away from all of this evening is love and compassion and understanding and empathy just for your fellow human being. And so I would like your energy to feed mine. I'm praying that my energy is going to feed yours. So what I want you to do for some participation, please, is if you can, please stand up. Awesome. No, don't sit back down yet. We're not done. I wasn't wanting the clapping, but okay, so what I would like you to do for the next couple minutes is within your vicinity of your reach. If you want to move around, please do. I opened some of my talking things with this. Again, it's love and community. So what I want you to do is just look at somebody, maybe you don't know them, introduce yourself, give a hug, a high five, a handshake, and just say something positive like, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, nice. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. It's good to see you, buddy. Hey.
Snowy, are you hugging? Okay, good.
No, you're good. I love you. What up? You guys made it? Nice. What's up, buddy? Love you guys. Hi, I'm Sean.
Sarah.
Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here tonight. Hi, Freddie. Nice to meet you, sir. Pleasure. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you guys. And please be seated. Thank you so much for participating in that. Jim, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're here, man. Okay, so let's just get this going. The other thing I'd like to do, just to center myself, because I am nervous and I just need to do this. So God, just thank you for this opportunity to be here this evening with these lovely people. Thank you for allowing me to be a beacon of light for you, a vessel. And I know that this has been a long road for you and me together, and this is all you, not me. So just thank you so much, and I love you, and I'm grateful, and I'm blessed to be here. So what started this is walking through a door. To walk through a door, and then I walked through another door, and then now I'm here. And it is the blessing of having the opportunity in my life today to know I'm a good man and I'm worthy of things. So thank you. I came to have the contact information for this event, this thing, the Living Stage. And I started talking with the Red Lion Hotel Corporation Living Stage team, and I pitched an idea to them, and they agreed. So here I am. And so tonight, normally it would be a talk show, but so 3 things tonight that they wanted me to do. They wanted me to explain why the project, and then we'll get into some of my story. I know a lot of you have heard it, so I apologize if you have to hear it again. And then the end part will be what drives me today and why I continue doing what I'm doing in my life. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you all. You inspire and motivate me, whether I've ever said that to you or not. It's just the truth. I want to thank Aaron Watkins, the Red Lion Hotel Corporation, the Living Stage team for allowing me to do this, my friends and family, because without all the love and support, I wouldn't be here this evening. The project is called My Heroes 365. I am inspired and motivated everywhere I go. Every person I meet has something that I can take away from them. And that's huge for me because that's what I'm after. This long-term recovery road for me has just been amazing, and it gets more amazing and more amazing as I go through it. And again, I'm sorry, I'm really ad-libbing. I had some slides, but so how do you inspire and change people? I know I can only do that by doing the work for myself. And if I'm walking around in my life trying to be light when there is so much darkness, and still the limiting beliefs and those patterns that are inside myself that tell me I'm not worthy. I can't tell you how many times my mind told me, cancel this show. What are you doing? Don't you know who you are, Sean? Right? Lies, all lies, right? So again, I'm after things that fuel me because I need that in my life. I have to be fueled. I have to know that there's something bigger, there's something better. Now, throughout tonight, there'll be some themes, and I'm hoping that you'll follow along in that as you're walking this journey with me this evening, you'll see those. So the project itself, I have had the opportunity to be self-employed, and what that has given for me is freedom to go out into the community when I have free time and find out what I can get into, what I can do to volunteer and give of my time to find out what other amazing organizations and institutions there are for me to get my hands into. I like being busy. My mind races all the time, and I just want to help wherever I can. So those people, along with all of you here, because I do know all of you except I think you, but I met you, so I'm glad you're here, on a personal level, so I know the stories and you know mine. Again, you guys you've always fed me and encouraged me and inspired me, but I'm learning more things are out there for me to be engaging in, and I love what these people are doing for the community. So the idea is a talk show. I love stories, I love dialogue, I love conversation. I think conversation and dialogue is where we start creating change. Again, just my story, and I'm sorry I'm a pacer, you guys. I have to pace. It just helps me stay focused. But it's all about how can I be better? How can I be just a little bit better today? I always want to be a little bit better. So the idea is just that, and I have a spot every 23rd of each month. So I will have a guest on here, and it'll be somebody that is overcome adversity, because I love stories of darkness that end in light. Those are just they're miracles to me. Those kind of stories I love. It's very important for me to be out there hearing these stories. So with that being said, I would like to announce, because I do have my first guest already booked for next month, and his name is Curtis Robinson, the Spokane NAACP president. He's got a lot of stuff he's involved in. So he's the NAACP Alaska, Oregon, Washington State Area Conference Criminal Justice Chair. He's a Smart Justice Spokane Executive Committee member, Behavioral Health Advisory Board member, Revive Center for Returning Citizens Board member, Community Court Advisory Board member. He's a very busy guy in our community. He's a wildland firefighter and a firefighter for Spokane County District 10. He is also a reentry specialist, a peer support specialist, a recovery coach, and veterans recovery coach. Mr. Robinson has been involved in the recovery reentry community since his justice-involved event in 1984. He has volunteered in recovery homes like Progress Houses of Southern California, Roar Project Houses of Spokane, and Revive Reentry Services, and currently has 14 years clean and sober. I've had the privilege of getting to know him as I go along this journey of things that I'm outside and doing. And he's an amazing man, so I'm very excited for that. Also, last announcement, they do have pretty cool stuff that they're doing here. They have these, I think, at the front desk, but hey, maybe you'll see something. You might want to come check it out on a different date. So, again, am I awake? Am I aware in my life, everyone that I meet? Because I can be inspired by the homeless. I've had the opportunity to see a person, you could just feel the desperation on them, the emptiness and just the anguish, and I understand what that's like. And it doesn't hurt to ask if they're hungry. It doesn't hurt to give them my time and give them a ride to go get something to eat. And have that dialogue, have that conversation. Because I know me, I want to come from a place of understanding. What has happened in your life that this is your life? And it's amazing when I give myself the opportunity to learn these things, how inspiring their stories are to me. Because there's no room for judging them. I don't judge them. If you're hungry, let's go eat. Let's just have a conversation. A hug can go a long way. A little bit of appreciation, a little bit of, hey man, it's going to be okay. It may save that person's life that day. I don't know. If I'm out in the community, what about the vets? When was the last time you talked to a vet? Just said thank you. Maybe they're a combat vet. How are you doing? Are you doing all right? Are you getting help for maybe some of the things that you're dealing with? Again, it's just, how can I, again, this is just me, how can I move forward in my life and try to still be that beacon of light? Because I don't understand. I don't understand what they're going through. Same thing with the homeless. I've been homeless like 2 nights out of my whole life, right? I don't fully understand what they're going through. Same thing like business owners. I love talking to business owners. CEOs used to scare me. Like that kind of demographic was beyond me. The life that I've led, I definitely don't think that they want to talk to a human being like me, right? But they're just humans. That's another thing that I want to share tonight, is they're just human beings. So, again, how do we have these dialogues and conversations? And I'm hoping that at least you can take away from tonight, I'm starting to learn to have that conversation from a point of understanding, not to be heard. And that's huge. Like I reached out, because I'll get into my story, and I reached out to my dad, and I was hoping to meet him before this event, but it didn't happen. But I want to understand what it was like growing up with me, right? Because I've never asked that question. But boy, I've held on to some hate and discontent and some resentments. But I want to hear from his eyes. What was I like? Because I know what I was like. I was a hellion. I couldn't even imagine being my parent. So, I'm trying to visualize the slides. It's keeping me on point here. So again, the whole point for the project is just to have dialogue and conversation and to have a little bit of understanding. And I hope that you guys will be able to make it here on the 23rd of each month. And I understand if you can't, but it's going to be amazing. I'll just say that. So I'll go ahead and get into my story part here. I remember, so I had pictures of me as a baby, and man, I look at them, and this little boy is smiling, and his eyes are bright, and the world is for him and for the taking, and he's full of life, and he's just trying to take all this information in from the world, and he's growing, and he's changing, and all these things. And those pictures, because I understand, it's me, it's my life. Somewhere along the line, that wonderment disappeared. That carefree innocence disappeared. So I grew up in an alcoholic home. and it just wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. Now, again, I just want to share with you guys, I'm coming from I want to share from the perception of that little boy growing up, that kid growing up. I look at things differently now, but the trauma that I feel that I went through in my house was detrimental to me. When I was 7 years old, my family went and did this Boy Scout thing, something, I don't really remember it. The conversations I've been having with my family trying to get ready for this, it's still very vague as well. We had a babysitter, 15 or 16 years old. I was 7. I've always been a little guy, right? But I've always just been a very little kid. And at the threat of killing my family, I was physically forced to perform oral sex on that man. I became angry. I became suicidal. I wanted to die. My earliest memories from then was anger, hate, discontent, confusion. I really prepared a lot to do this tonight, and I tell you what, the feelings come back very quickly. I'm at a different point, but those things changed me profoundly. And what that led for me was a life that we'll get into, but what do you do when you're a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid that doesn't even want to be here anymore? Like, what does that look like in the grand scheme of things growing up? I don't know. I just know what my life has been. So, these events, amongst many others, I love to escape. I love to numb out my feelings. I don't want to feel. Because I can't take my own life, but I can't imagine being here at the same time. So at a very young age, I'm a military kid. And every 4 years we would move. So not only was these kind of things, again, just from the eyes of a kid, every 4 years I'm uprooted. Every 4 years I have to meet new people. Every 4 years I change schools. Every 4 years my life changes. Every 4 years. So for me, that anger started coming out in that crowd, right? You know what I'm talking about. The kids that are breaking stuff, shooting the BB gun, blasting out the school windows, right? That kind of crowd. The smokers, maybe they're drinking a little bit. I felt alive. I felt something with that crowd, with those kids. I felt accepted. I felt a part of. I felt loved. And then the beer got passed, right? Again, this isn't a unique story. It's just mine. Take a drink. Ugh, that's disgusting. Here. Wait. Let me try that again. No, it's still gross. I don't know what wait a minute. What is that I'm feeling? Let me have that. And I drink a little more. And all of a sudden I find something in my life that changes me like that. A formula. Good, bad, right, or wrong, it just is what it is. So that, for me, spirals into the rest of my life and my story. Again, I started listening to, as my mom put it way back when, the devil's music. I came home with Metallica, and there was no way that was, going to happen. That's the devil's music. But I related to it. There was some kind of energy in it for me. I'm not saying it's angry. It just had energy. And when I was listening to that stuff and doing these other things, I was able to expel some of what I was feeling. I could get outside of myself. So, The alcohol led to many, many other things for me. At this point of the story, I am between 13 and 16. So within that time, I love my father with all my heart and soul. I love that man. But it was two human beings in a household that were dealing with trauma, that didn't know they were dealing with trauma, that didn't have coping skills, and the coping skills that they had were very destructive. And in that household, it was nothing but just butting heads between me and him. Very angry. I can't speak for him, but I was very angry. I got sent away. I think I was 14. It got to a point where I was very mouthy to my father. And it just wasn't going to work, so I got sent away. I got sent to other family in Ohio. And again, from the eyes of a kid, I'm not wanted. They don't love me. There's something wrong with me. Am I broken? And there's this common theme throughout that childhood to my adult life that consistently was broken, confused, defeated, hopeless, helpless. I ended up coming back, and the crowd that I left, I actually was doing very well in that the crowd at my uncle and aunt's house. I went from a DC student to straight A's, honor roll. And then back into the environment where I was sent away from. So very quickly, I'm going to find my crowd. I didn't find it over here. I don't know why. I don't know what happened inside of me where I actually did something different. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I did something different. But when I got back, you have two more human beings doing this again. So I'm in 10th grade at this point. I'm 15 years old. Very quickly, I go from marijuana to snorting cocaine to doing a lot of LSD and tons of drinking. And still very angry and violent. I went to treatment when I was 15 years old. That was my first treatment experience. And that led to my first experience with a 12-step program and the principles in which to change your life and to find a new way to live. So again, I'm 15 years old. I go back into my high school. And another theme throughout my whole life is even in that crowd, at home, everything I was doing, I was just alone. I felt very alone inside. Like I just never fit in, like I never belonged. And that same thread that I just didn't want to be here, that this has got to be a farce, this can't be my life. And if it is, I don't want it. And I could never do enough drugs and alcohol and other criminal activities to numb that out. It was always there. It's always been there. So I'm in this program, and I actually make it 6 to 9 months sober. And I start having this psychic change, this spiritual awakening. I did. I actually did. I felt something, like a gold nugget was being mined inside of me. Like there was light in all this darkness. And then all of a sudden it changed. And I stopped going. This was Grand Forks, North Dakota. I'm a 15-year-old kid. Long hair, by the way. Totally long hair. Yeah, little hippie Hessian kid. And farmers. Alcoholic, sober, alcoholic older farmers. And they loved me. Like they didn't treat me any different. Again, just from the eyes of a kid. I still didn't feel like I fit in, even though I knew these men were trying to help me change my life. I felt their love. I felt the genuine care that they had for me. So again, I don't know what happened or why I turned my back on that, but I did, and I went back to what I know and what's comfortable for me, and that is chaos, destruction, and anger. My dad retired And I ran away. I did not want to be in that environment any longer. And they moved back here. I was actually born on Fairchild, so I'm a Washingtonian. And so he retired. They moved back here. I ran away, and my great-grandfather died. So they put me on a train, and I came back. So again, it's that trauma against trauma environment. I know exactly where to find my people, right? I came back here for my senior year. There's got to be a smoke hole, right? These kids smoke, and if they smoke, chances are I'm going to get what I want. And I'm going to get that escape. And that's what I've always found, is that escape. So 17 years old, I found methamphetamines, and the rest of my story is just dark, degrading, disgusting to me, black, empty, and broken. My kids couldn't keep me clean. Them crying, "Dad, don't go and do what you normally do. Stop." Crying, telling me this stuff. And I can't. The court system couldn't keep me clean. Mr. Stradling, I see your face again. You know what's going to happen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I fully understand. There I am again, Mr. Stradling. Again and again and again. I actually had my mug shots that I was going to show you guys. It broke my heart to see him. It broke my heart to look in my own eyes and to instantly feel what I was feeling then. You can see the degradation physically. I don't recognize myself at all. There's one on there that I really wanted to hone in on for you guys because it was my last arrest. And I don't even know what age I was by this point in my life. But you could just see how broken I was. I'm a meth addict. I still copper. That's my thing. Right? Absolutely. So we go back to this place. We've hit it a few times. And there's a sting operation. I have no clue that it's happening. Coldest day of the year, freezing out. I probably weigh $130, high as a kite. And I get caught doing this stuff. I see lights, I'm running, I'm gone. And then I see a red dot going up like this and freeze. I froze. And two things happened to me that night. I instantly dropped to my knees, put my hands behind my head, and the first thought I had was, I'm tired. I'm very tired. And it's over. I felt a sense of relief that evening. Second thought. By this point in my story in my life, my kids were already gone from my life due to my choices. Whether I'm powerless or not, due to my choices. And all I could think was, how do I tell them I'm now going to prison? Like, how do you tell your kids that? I don't know. And I just lost it. I just started crying, and I couldn't stop crying that whole night until they put me in my cell and I went to sleep. And I really wish I could have showed you that picture because it's profound. I tried to run away many, many times from this disease, this thing that I live with on a daily basis. I was always looking for the right formula, always looking for the next, but I was laser focused on just getting the next whatever it was so I didn't have to live here. I could not stand myself. I could not stand my life. So at this point, now I'm an adult, so I'll share from that perspective. I don't have to think about the things that happened to me when I was very young if I do this. And I can do this, it works. It's hard for me to go back and live that stuff. When I was preparing for all of this, I feel it to my bones, the things that have happened to me. And I feel that my survival skills and my coping skills got me to where I am today. Good, bad, right, or wrong, those helped me get through those things I was dealing with. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 22. And I'd love to tell you guys that it's because I just had this sense of duty. I'm a military kid. I come from a full line of military vets. That I'm just following in their footsteps. Right? I'm going to go defend this country. I would love to tell you that's why I did it. I joined the Marine Corps because the Marine Corps goes in and they fight. So, I had this plan in my head. If I were to die in battle, I would come home, there would be a medal, there would be a flag on my casket, and my kids would cry one last time, but they would cry for a hero, and it would wash away everything I've ever done to them up to this point in my life. That's why I joined. I got hurt. That ended that goal. But I tell you what, guess what? When I got to the airport, hey man, I'm going to need some of that real good stuff. Real good. And we're off and running again. So, fast forward. I've lived a life of sexual degradation. I got to a point when I was 18 years old that I realized I can get a lot of drugs with the money I can get paid for selling my body. There's something inside that happens to a human being when they're willing to do that kind of stuff. And if you've done it, then you fully understand. There's a switch, and I'm okay. Because you know what? I have another goal in mind, because that's how sick and twisted my disease is for me. I know as soon as this is over, I'm going to get more drugs, because that money is going to allow me to get more drugs. So this cycle, my whole life, from the time I started finding these formulas to put in my body, just kept going over and over and over again for me. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that, to numb out what I just did or have done, to get that, to numb out, to get that, to numb out. I'll share the end of the my story part. So I remember very vividly and very vaguely one specific day. It's pouring rain. I'm in Airway Heights. And again, that theme of just broken and beaten down. I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm desperate and I'm full of anguish. At this point in my life, I don't even think I had anger. I think anger was gone. I was just so desperate for something different in my life. And no matter how hard I tried, I could never stay clean. Multiple treatment centers, multiple felonies, you name it, nothing ever worked. So I'm walking in the pouring rain, and I am just crying. I am so broken and beaten down inside. And all I could just ask my God was, why? My whole life has been a lie. This is all I'm ever going to be. Why would you give me this life? Now I got really angry. Because I started thinking, maybe this God that people talk about is a dude with an ant farm. And he doesn't care about me. Why have you forsaken me? Are you serious? Why is this my life? Why am I hurting my kids, my friends, my family? And then everything changed. Everything changed for me. I gave up. I gave up on this idea that I was ever going to get clean or that there was going to be something different for me in my life. I gave up. I just shut down and gave up. And weeks later, I started my journey in my recovery. My clean date is July 1st, 2011, and since that day, the day before, I have not had a drink or drug. And for me, that's very profound. Like I stand here with you guys, super blessed and super grateful that this is my life. I am in awe every single day that I'm still here, because there was a point in my recovery where I knew the trap door was going to get pulled and I was going to go through it, because I never stay clean. The thought alone baffles me. I'm a lover of life. It has been a long road for me, a very grateful road. I'm glad for everything that I have ever gone through in my whole life. And by doing certain things, like in these programs, there's steps, right? I'm not speaking for any of these. I'm not a face for them, so you get the picture. But you work these things, and what I realized, the first time I ever sat across from another man and you could see how broken and destroyed he was inside, and for once I had the ability to be able to say, it's going to be okay. I've had a similar experience. Let me share that with you. And it all made sense. For me, it made sense. It clicked right then and there. Why became why not? And that has changed my life, and it has changed my recovery. Why not? Are you so special that these things shouldn't have happened to you? That you shouldn't have walked through this kind of stuff? That this shouldn't have been your life? So, for me, it's what can I do now in my life to continue this journey, because I still have those limiting beliefs. I still have those patterns inside of myself, regardless of how strong my spiritual connection is. I wanted to do this project because I believe in it, and I believe in change, and I believe in community, and I believe in bigger things in myself, and coming together to find a solution, regardless of whatever the problem is, but finding those solutions. But yet I can still tell myself, you shouldn't be doing this. Right? When I went to start my company, it's small, I get it. But everything said, no way, man. No way, because everybody's telling you, you can't. I did it anyway. I don't know how not to find the solutions in my life, and I'll be damned if I listen to this any longer. It's taken a long time in my road of recovery to get to that point. I am good enough. I am worthy. I deserve everything that I choose to put the work in to get. So you take that little broken kid and you take that broken teenager all the way up into adulthood that wanted to die his whole life. I just want to live, right? And if tonight was only for the purpose of reaching one of you, good enough. Good enough for me. Right? I don't have any grand schemes. I don't have any grand agendas. All I know how to do, right? Because when doors used to open or at least present themselves in a past life and even early recovery, I would just kind of like scope it out, be like, what's that? Man, I don't want none of that, right? Walk by it again, just be like, I hear something, but nah, I ain't even going to pay attention, right? And then sometimes just get a little closer, be like, what's going on in there? Maybe take a peek. Oh, no, that's scary, right? I go back to this God that I live with in my life today, very abundant and very powerful. I don't know how to live any other way than moving forward. So not only am I starting to open doors, and this has been going on for years now in my recovery, like my God is drop-kicking doors open for me. That's the life I have today. Because I surrender. Even with all that stuff inside of me that says, no. How dare you even try? Don't you know who you are? So my encouragement for you guys this evening, there's so many amazing things happening in Spokane, in our community, to help the less fortunate, to help others. I would just encourage that you start looking at these things and see if you can fit in. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. I have no judgment of that. I have no opinion. But there are some amazing causes happening right here in our own community. And I think it's amazing to share your story. Stories have been passed on from fire pit to fire pit when they were grunting all the way till now. There is power in story. There's lessons to be had. Again, how can I have that dialogue with you just to understand? Instead of, no. I think you probably should hear my opinion. Like something, again, is switching in my life, in my recovery, to where I just want to be more compassionate. And I do want to be more understanding. I'm full of empathy. I totally understand. Like, so let me ask, who here has in your own life or knows someone that has dealt with homelessness? So go ahead, look around. Okay, so let me ask this question. Who here has or know someone that has dealt with sexual abuse in their life? Thank you for participating. That's honesty. That's growth, right? It's spiritual growth. I know that's what I'm after today. Who here either has or knows someone that has dealt with drug addiction or alcoholism in their life? So I'm not alone. We're not alone. It's amazing to me. I knew that would be the outcome. I knew that would be the outcome. That's a lot. So what that tells me is that there's a lot of people walking around with trauma that are possibly still broken. So again, how can I just be compassion and love in everything that I'm doing? How can I move forward every single day to be just a little better so I can be a little better to help? Because that's all I want to do today. I just want to help wherever and however I can. That is something new for me because I am a taker. I've taken my whole life. So again, I still am just very grateful and blessed because this some days still doesn't feel real to me. And I'm just, I can't put the words of what that actually makes me feel like every single day, right? Because here's the other thing. I've walked through my whole life a loser, a nobody, a thief, manipulator, criminal, right? Junkie, bum, boozer, and the list goes on. But today, so again, I really had this great PowerPoint, by the way, you guys, because those baby pictures is full of life. And the pictures I have today is a human being full of life. I wanted to show you that full circle that has happened for me in my life. Because my eyes are full of wonder again. I'm carefree again. I love my life. I love what I'm doing. I love every aspect of it. And it's amazing to see all the pictures, because those labels now are a father, a friend, a brother, business owner, employee. Things I've always been very incapable of being able to do or be. My kids are my biggest advocates today. I get to sit on a panel next month with my daughter, and we both get to talk about what it was like for her living with me then, and then what it's like now. I don't know about you, but I'm going to cry that day. I guarantee it. I was incapable of being these things, and today I'm very capable of all of it. The other things I'm out there doing, Lane, I'm glad to see you, by the way. Glad you can make it. Is advocating, something I've never done. And now I'm out doing that stuff. Why? Because my mind tells me I shouldn't. So right then, I'm going to do that. I'm very uncomfortable. This is very nerve-wracking for me. But I'm here doing it because my mind says, don't do it. I have to do it. I have to. Now, a lot of you I know very personally. And again, the whole point of this is to inspire change. It's to inspire those conversations. It's to inspire dialogue. And I really hope that you're out there having these conversations with yourselves, with your family, with your girlfriend. Because there's amazing power in story. So I want to leave you with this evening. Be love. Be compassion. Have empathy, because you know what? Most of you, I know your personal story. I don't know theirs, but I bet they got something. I bet they got something, right? That maybe I don't understand, so maybe I should probably try to come from a position of understanding. So again, I just want to thank you so much for being here this evening with me to walk this journey and allow me to spiritually grow in my life. And I hope you guys stay tuned. Every 23rd of the month after this, we will be on this stage doing it again. So thank you very much. I appreciate you all.